Good morning. I spent some time over the weekend looking at how you guys did on the Lego activity, and there are a couple things that I want to make sure that you understand that seem to be causing some confusion. So you're going to watch this video, and I'm going to be asking you some questions, and I'm also going to be asking you to put some specific things on specific screens, and I'm going to be telling you which screens you need to check in with me on. You're going to need a dry erase board and a dry erase pen to record some things down. So pause the video and make sure you have a dry erase board and a dry erase video, or a dry erase pen, sorry. Pause the video and get those items, then turn it back on. Okay, the first thing we're going to do differently today, and you're not going to do it right this second, you're going to wait until you're done with the video, is we are going to be signing in today, because I had not realized that when you actually sign in, it will save all your work. Now, I'm always able to see your work, even after you log out and you're done, I can see it. But I want you to be able to go back to your own work from now on whenever we do Desmo's activity. So you're going to use the sign in with Google, and I'd like you to jot that on your dry erase board. You'll just click that, and that's the same Google that you've been using to get onto the computer. So you know what the password for that is because you use it all the time. Once you do that, it's going to ask you to enter your class code, and there are two class codes. If you're in period 1, I would like you to use V as in vegetable, E as in Eric, K as in kind, 6 as in the number 6, and V as in vegetable again. That's for period 1. Jot it down if you're in period 1. If you're in period 2, you're going to use Q, then U, then A, then N, and then Z. That's for period 2, people. That's a Z, not a 2, guys. And again, if you're in period 2, jot that down on your dry erase board so that you have it and you don't have to go back to the video to find it. The first screen that I'm concerned about is screen 3. And the first thing I want to do is give you some requirements. So first of all, I need some idea of what you're counting by. Now if you're counting by ones like I did, then each one of these tick marks is 1, and this tick mark right here is 5. You certainly don't need to number all your tick marks. If you want, you can just number that one. If, on the other hand, you decided that you wanted each of these tick marks to be 2, then this would be 2, 4, 6, 8, and you'd write 8 there, just so I know what you're counting by and what's going on. I want you to do the same thing here. Again, don't number each one of the tick marks because the sketch tool isn't really easy to use anyway, but number at least one tick mark so I can see what you're counting by. And again, if you're counting by ones, then this is going to be 5. If you were counting by 5s, this would be 5, 10, 15, 20. I also want you to pay attention to how they labeled the graph. So they labeled the graph here, this is number of pieces on the x-axis. And this is cost of pieces. Sorry about the phone ringing there. This again is the y-axis, and this is the price. And it's in dollars, which is really important to understand. This is $1, $2, $3, oh, whoa, $1, $2, $3, $4. If you're counting by ones, if you want to go 5s, that'd be $5, $10, $15, $20. You really need to pay attention to putting some numbers here so I know what's going on. So the first thing is, there needs to be at least one number on the x-axis and one number on the y. That's the first requirement. Please jot that down. Requirements for screen 3. You need to have at least one number on both the x-axis and the y-axis. You're putting this on your dry erase board so you don't have to go back to the video. The second requirement is that I want you here where it says explain your thinking, I want you to tell me what you decided the cost of one piece would be. So if you decided that the cost of one piece would be, then you're going to write one piece equals, I'm going to just say 1 cent. I don't know what you're going to decide, but 1 cent, 0.01. Okay, so jot that down on your dry erase board. You need to write down what you decided the cost of one piece was. And then you also need to jot down what you decide the cost, or how many pieces you can get for $1. So how many pieces, number of pieces for $1. This is the thing that I think you should graph. So if I'm doing 1 cent per piece, then I can get 100 pieces for $1. The problem is that if I count by ones on the x-axis, which is number of pieces, there's no way I can plot the point 100, comma, $1. And so I would have to decide to count by something different. I could plot it on here. I would just have to count by something different than ones. I might have to count by tens or fives or something else, because this won't fit. The 100 won't fit on the x-axis the way it's currently laid out. Okay? So again, put that down on your dry erase board. You need to, in this explaining part, show me what, how many pieces you can get for $1 according to what you guys decided one piece was. And then there's one more thing that will make 4 things all together, and that is I want you to label the coordinate point on the graph where you decide $1 is. So let's say that I want this to be $1 right here. If that's $1 and I'm going 100 pieces for $1, so here this, I couldn't count the way I'm counting now, so when I erase the 8, I would have to count by something else. So let's say I count by tens, then this would be 10, 20, 30, 40. I'm not numbering everything because of the sketch tool being so hard to use, but I'll number that. Then that's 40, this must be 80 right here, which means that 100 is right here. So I have to put a coordinate point over 100 and up $1, which is right there. And then of course you're going to draw your line. Whoops. Through that point. And then I said I want you to label it. So what I mean by label is, and again this is something that one of the 2 of you should be putting on your dry erase board, I want to see the coordinate point written down there, and this should be 100, comma, 1. So there are 4 requirements. 4 requirements you should have written down on screen 3. First, you need at least 1 number on the y-axis and 1 number on the x-axis. That's the first thing. Second, you need to tell me your cost per piece. Third, you need to tell me how many pieces you can get for $1 according to this. And fourth, you need to label the coordinate, the ordered pair, for this 3rd piece of information here. Okay, that is screen 3. Now I want to talk about some screen 3s that have problems. So let's go to this one. This person labeled the coordinate 1, 14. 1, 14. This is their screen 3. What do you think they meant? What do you think 114 means? I think that 114 means that it's $1 for 14 pieces. But what's wrong with this? I hope you and your partner realize that what's wrong with this is that this should say 14, 1, because 14 is the x-coordinate, and it should be on the x-axis, which it is, 14. That represents number of pieces. Where the 1 right here on the y-axis represents dollars, price in dollars. So this means that 14 pieces cost $1. That's reasonable. There's nothing wrong with this. The problem is that they're switching around the X and Y coordinate, and that makes it seem like one piece is $14, and I don't think that's what they meant. Let's look at somebody else's work. This person did the labeling of the coordinates exactly right. They're starting at 0, 0, and they went over, let's see, that's 10, sorry, over 9 and up 1, right here, over 9 and up 1. It's kind of hard to see the point because of the line. And that means that 9 pieces is $1 in their idea. And then up here they say that they think that each piece is 11 cents. And so they're explaining this. Now remember, there are 4 things you need on this screen. This person only has 2 of those things, so they're going to have to get 2 other things on this screen. Let's talk about screen 5 now. This is another screen that there were quite a few problems with. The first thing you need to remember is that you need to enter the data from screen 4 into this table here. They're wanting you to use the information from screen 4 to fill out this table, and as you fill out the table, points are going to appear over here on the graph. The second thing is that they're asking you to make a prediction for the cost of a 1005 piece set. But I don't want you to just wildly guess what a 1005 piece set. I want you to go back to what you did on screen 3. Now, if on screen 3, you figured out how many, what the cost per piece was, your cost per piece. So for instance, I thought on mine the cost per piece would be 1 cent. So according to my explanation, I should be doing 1 cent, 0.01 times 1005 pieces, and that's how I should be figuring out the cost of a 1005 piece set. I have to drag the red point, this red point right here, so it shows my answer after I do this multiplication. Now this person here thinks that each piece is 11 cents. So they're going to do 11 cents times 1005 in order to figure out where the red point goes. Here I'm showing you someone who thought that a 1005 piece set would be $71, and that's not a problem at all. As long as you make sure that it represents what one piece costs. So it needs to be proportional according to what one piece is. This is all about proportionality. This graph is proportional. It starts at 0, 0, and whatever one piece is, 2 pieces going to be double, and 3 pieces going to be triple that. We're using the idea of proportionality here. Okay, that is it. Remember that screen 3 and screen 5 have some requirements. There are 4 requirements on screen 3. There are 2, the table and making sure that the red point is proportional according to your cost per one piece. And then I also want to remind you that I want you to check in on 2 screens. So I'll be checking in with you all the way along. I want you to stop and show me your screen 11 before you move on to 12. And I want you to do the same on screen 12 before you move on to screen 13. Please record that so that you don't forget that these are check-in points that you can't go past until you've checked in with me. All right, good luck and good job. This is going to be scored because you've had quite a bit of help now on it, and you're also expected to get it done, so don't waste any time. Good luck, guys. Bye.